Yahtzee. Artists constantly lost in the game of Yahtzee across the web as everything becomes increasingly about the numbers, and some continue to lose motivation as their search for some form of recognition slowly takes them down a rabbit hole of depression that was already open enough for them to fall into. People say don't do it for the recognition, but we fail to see that, to some extent, art is always a call for help or attention. Yearning. Often yearned for greatness, often yearned for perfection, constantly fell to depression until I understood that they were unattainable, and decided to simply chill, have fun, and do my thing. To simply do what came natural and edit whatever felt incomplete the best that I could. Because if I continued to edit while searching for perfection, I'd never finish anything. Yugen. Living in an internet Yugen life, letting my art and my works speak for themselves and tell a little bit about myself, often thinking of making things even much more obscure, much more Yugen if you will, letting readers have fun as they try to decipher the codes, making things more interactive and hopefully much more fun for them to explore. Yet to achieve my maximum potential as the notebooks full of ideas continue to follow me, just picture it, as I spent my first morning hour writing 7 new movie ideas that'll probably never see the light of day. Yet to achieve maximum potential, as I believe I can do much more than art, as I believe I can still master certain ports, as I believe I can still master certain fields, but life cuts me short, and I can pursue them all. Which is why I sometimes wish to be Wolverine minus the torture, so I can have a long life where I achieve all of my goals minus the torture of losing the people I love. But that'll never be attainable, because life isn't a fantasy. Nope, we're in this for a short time, and we just gotta do as much as we can with it. Yellow. Those yellow curtains brighten each day, even when the rain brings forth dark clouds. My girlfriend made a great choice. Thank you, babe. Yeti. A Yeti full of water or any form of bottle of water, an essential that does a little bit to bring forth a new outcome for future generations. You serve as an inspiration and influence that someone else looks up to. Never forget that big or small amount of power you have over someone else. Yourself. Like that Frankie song, I always advise people to be themselves. Sadly, I don't practice it as often. Hypocrisy at its finest. So, let me just write it right now as another fucking reminder. Be yourself. Yes. Saying yes to a job I don't like, a recent regret in my life. I hope it doesn't affect me too much. Yo-yo. Playing around with art like a yo-yo, moving around and around, up and down, side to side, like the way Christian Lee plays around with it. Having fun with it, till my body needs a break, only to get up and go at it again a few hours later. Jal. At this point, a natural part of our body language, a common stereotype that has taken different forms. First, it was derogatory, but now others claim it and use it as a form of empowerment. It's yet another example of interestingly wonderful language can be. Youth. The youth constantly changing the ways of the past, bringing new ideas that for the most part are on the good side of history in a particular context. Hopefully it'll continue to be that way, and we won't regress towards cave times. Yuck. Yucks heard all around a room of people seeking to escape the current landscape. Meanwhile, someone swallows every joke as a direct attack and eventually ruins the fun for everybody else. Yoga. A new form of relaxation becomes mainstream and millions become healthier for it. I've considered this sport, art form, and technique, but time has always been my enemy. I know it's a cheap excuse, but I know one day it'll be a part of my daily practices. Yard. This environment tells stories of a family slowly growing, stories of a mother gardening flowers, stories of a father under the sun mowing lawns, stories of children having fun, stories of a family eventually growing old and smiling into the skies as legacy continues to grow. Yogurt. She consumes it daily as her body has become a daily enemy, one she's forced to battle in order to feel healthy, in order to simply enjoy life to its maximum potential before the next one comes. Jejuno. Muchas veces los mensajes y las ideas se quedan en el yeyuno y no hacen la digestión por completa. Yeguada. En nuestra isla llena de problemas hay una yeguada de grandes artistas. Es una pena que no se les dé el amor que se merecen. Yelp. A loud yelp is heard across the house. The next image is a bleeding pinky toe. Yema. La yema de nuestro ser es constantemente herida por comidas grasosas y por falta de amor. Yanking. I continue experimenting with different forms and styles, always yanking on them, trying to look for different ways to express whatever runs through the mind, whatever the mind wishes to speak, especially in the darkest and most confusing times. Yawn. Hear me yawn all throughout work-related workshops that I have no interest in. Thankfully, these masks have allowed me to do it more often. Yahoos. Yahoos are often seen as negatives in the world. Elitism will always deem them as ignorant, but those who consider themselves the elite will often fail to see the background and culture behind such terminology. Yammering. I often look at my poetria to seem like a synonym of yammering, and perhaps it is, but for some it might not, but that's part of being one's own worst critic. Yardbird. A word used in many different contexts, some for the military, other for convicts, but the way I found it was through music, great music that continues to influence to this day. Yelling. A lot of yelling is found on the web today, and it continues to destroy us. One would think that with so much communication, we would also be more open towards listening. But no, things haven't worked out that way.